All right, all right. Hey, friends, this is Erik Bledsoe. Welcome to the Build Show. It is Tuesday, December 31st, 2026. I am so excited to introduce you to some of my friends today. Let's dive in and talk about AI and business and how to help you build what matters. I am your host, Erik Bledsoe, and in this episode, I'm excited to break down the business problems occurring right now for our friends in AI development, AI automations, and the guy you're about to meet, Aaron, is a boss, and we are good friends. So I'm going to dive right in. My guy.
Man, Erik, it's been too long, and you know what? I have realized in a relationship, I can't say goodbye, dude, and I can't. I can't say goodbye. I'm like, last time we chat, that's not true. It's not true, man.
It's flawless. I feel the same way. I want to make sure we stay in friendship. When I was dialing in, I was like, you're about to meet the guy right now.
Oh yeah.
The
Oh yeah.
guy. I do have to let in all these note takers and clean up our screen. Oh my goodness. There we are. Brother, how you been?
It's been, dude, I've been, you know what I'm saying? I've been, man, I've been learning, I've been laughing, I've been loving, you know what I'm saying? I'm every mantra. I like a friend. I've been doing it all, dude.
Let's go. Let's go. Hey, before I forget, because the show is new and with coaching calls in AAA, I have to read a disclaimer. Is that okay?
Oh, man, it's like my Miranda rights.
I know. Every time I'm supposed to say this. Hey, by joining this call, you agree that this conversation can be recorded and broadcast live and in future replays across all platforms. This is coaching, not legal advice, financial advice. You're responsible for your own decisions and results. And if that's cool, let's do it.
Let's start off with what I should be doing with my money.
Yeah, let's build something right now. Yeah. That's so good. That is hysterical. I just checking the channel. All right, good. Looks like we are recording. Let me make sure. Oh man, see, look, this is why it's important. I had it on me the whole time, and that's okay. So
Yeah.
I'm learning as we go. I keep forgetting I have to run the broadcast while we're blessing everybody out there. So, dude,
Do it.
well, good. Hey, this is I mean, obviously you and I are having fun. My hope for this is that it's literally just taking coaching calls live and helping people understand the value that's available both in my own coaching and in the AAA community, so more people can find us and make a bunch of money like you, bro.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm hoping that this helps. I hope that this blows up. I hope that this episode goes viral.
I, th-
You know. So
I
yeah,
think we're gonna have 5 people watch this episode, but hopefully it's more than.
viral, dude. Viral is gonna go wild. Okay, great.
Yeah,
So,
dude. Let's dive in. Where you at?
yes, okay, so I made a decision and I wanted to get your blessing on it because I
Okay.
went against what your last coaching session was about. So here it is. I decided that I'm not going to do service-based business.
Okay.
So I have been, and I made this decision from a couple of things. Like I have one client right now that has like a crazy amount of scope creep. Like I told you about this one SaaS product I'm building for this one client, and it's like it's a never-ending loop of like, oh, this this feature wasn't included, and then I would say it's not in the contract, and then it's like late payments, and then it's just like, okay, well, we're still building this thing. So
Huh.
I decided after, was that, I'm sorry?
I was just surprised. Keep going.
Yeah, for sure. So I was just like, okay, so I'm just gonna build a product to serve a market so that my I can dial in on my marketing and my copy and my messaging and do anything on my social media platforms. Like I know exactly who I'm talking to. I know what problem I'm solving specifically, because you know this. We've been in coaching sessions for a bit now, where it's just like I don't know what my messaging is, so I'm kind of like AI for business owners, AI for like accounting firms, but I'm not specifically saying if you have this pain point,
Right.
I'm gonna. So I'm going down the productized route right now, which is I feel like SaaS, but it's really just a product. I'm selling a product now.
All right.
This is what it's it was a product that I built to scratch my own itch when it came to content creation. And that workflow is like combining Notion, Dropbox, um, Google Drive, uh, and essentially like a Hootsuite of sorts,
Okay.
right? So it's like the the thing that built internally. I showed it to a couple of business owners, and I had some people that were like interested, but I just didn't pay attention to it at that point, and I just made a decision after like showing this item as like a hey, you could do something like this for your business. People were like interested in actually this. They're like, oh, I would love to beta test this. I would love to see how this goes.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm spending all my time and energy trying to build this product out the best way that I possibly can. I got one buyer on on the line right now. So when this drops, I'll have at least one client. So this is where I'm at with it. So, to dive deeper on this though, I've named it Drop-In, like
Okay.
it's the Drop-In. So what it does is that it's a place, and I can actually show you. I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay,
Absolutely. Show me.
we can walk through like what and stuff like that. Okay, so
All right.
let me show you. So this is your content calendar, right?
Let me
And then
see
you
if
can
I can. It's a little bit blurry. There you go.
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's rendering now.
Okay.
Let me see if for the folks
So
at home. No.
yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, you're good.
So essentially, this is like a content calendar. It's a content management system. So it's almost like entirely like a full CRM on the back end. This is where you can put your title, your script. From your script, you can generate tags for just say like the platforms. So like you can decide where this video is going to be posted to. So you could say um, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, right?
Okay.
Because you can the settings and you can connect up to 5 right now, but there's 13 platforms that I can upload right now.
Okay.
Right now, you can generate tags. It will be based off of it will be AI generated from like basically this script, and I'm gonna make the feature so that you can. Let me do it for YouTube and Instagram just so I can show you how that works. Just because in my workflow, it was like a bitch for me uh, to download the video that I got back from my editor
Sure.
and then do all of like this manual like tags
Sure.
and just whatever the case is. So instead of doing all that, I built a system so to to solve this problem. I had a problem with even my raw footage, right? So sometimes, oh, let me show you. So this is what it would look like with YouTube, right? And this is just my personal prompting. So like you can also like make your own
Okay.
essentially. And the back end of this also creates the chapters for you, uploads the thumbnail for you. Um, and then over here on the raw footage, this is like what I have shot in a day. I put it here. My video editor could go ahead and download that item. And then when they have a final cut, they'll just post it here under
Okay.
Final Cut. So, um, I'm going to build a feature here where you can play the video on Final Cut, and then wherever you need to make an adjustment or tell your video editor to make an adjustment, you can like have a timestamp and say like at 37 seconds, you could just type in the comment.
Sure.
Easy. Instead of like going back and forth with like different Google Drives and stuff. One more thing too is that you can upload a bunch of videos, and then as long as your script matches what's in the video, whether it's a long form or short form, you can auto map it. So for instance, like this video right here was auto mapped to this script as an example. So you don't have to like sort through hours and hours and hours of footage. So
Say that to me a different way. So you take your video and upload it into the platform, and it searches the scripts for you, or it's how?
yeah, so after a long day of shooting, as an example, like I would shoot like 20 shorts in one day,
Okay.
right? So I create 20 short scripts. I put them on my teleprompter. I'm doing my thing on the teleprompter. When I get the SD card back and I plug it in, I do not want to sort through all this footage.
Sure.
So I would just upload it onto this platform, and then I would say auto map all, essentially. And then what it'll do is that it'll go through every single one of these scripts. Sorry, these transcripts. Um, and then it would just match the transcript to the video file. Sorry,
Got it.
the video script, essentially like this. Like if this script match anything that came out of that transcript, it will be able to map it, and then you would be able to see it under here.
Okay.
Raw footage. So, and I played this for you right now, but it's going through like these guys.
Yeah, I see that.
This idea came from just me like having to like open up the files again and then like essentially like rename like this file name so that I can see like, oh, this file name matches this script.
Right.
It was like a whole mess in my Notion. So what I did to validate this idea, are we good?
Mm-hmm.
So go back to your face now. Okay.
You're so funny.
So essentially, this was born from the idea of like, I literally had this problem. I started talking to some other agencies, marketing agencies, and it seems like they also have the same problem. They have Notion, they have Loomly, they have Airtable, they have Dropbox, they have like other things that are just like a customer approval or client approval portals. So it's like four or five tools just like trying to like battle each other, and I'm trying to create that one tool that it does everything for you, for all your social media needs. The cool stuff that I'm trying to build on top is a full-on AI orchestrated workflow for personal branding and script creation. So it takes you from asking you as a client everything about yourself, your stories, your personal brand, your case studies, pretty much anything that you can use for marketing material. That the strategist part of the AI orchestration is fine-tuned. I have about 5 fine-tuned models working together to produce like really, really quality output, so that when you come onto the platform, when it's like ready for this, you can throw in everything about who you are. It's trained on content strategy, it's trained on personal branding strategy, and then it can guide you to make better pieces that are going to help you. This is also another itch I'm trying to scratch, by the way. This is my personal itch. And then be able to guide you on what content pillars you should be creating, so that that's opportunity to gain an authority on YouTube, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Like that. That's like the second phase of what I'm trying to build out. And then as the phases continue to mount, I'm thinking after that we'll add in metrics, and we'll do metrics adding. And then it will also weigh on the decisions that this AI strategist is going to be able to give. So I've been making that from scratch.
Wow. That is a piece of work, bro.
Mount. Yeah. Thinking. So I gave you the TLDR. I'm going to ask you some business related questions next, but do you have any questions about this?
No, that's fantastic. How does it post? Or is that something you end up manually dragging across?
So so that's a great question. So right now I am, there's a button so that you could just straight up post, and then on the back end, I can use what's called getlate.dev, right? It's just basically like a social media scheduler API. It's specifically an API.
Sure.
It also plugs in directly to Claude Desktop. So if you're not like an agency and you don't care about anything that's super fancy, you could just get the Late API for like $20 a month, and then you can start like, messing around with it with an MCP server.
Okay.
But in my case, I'm trying to make sure that if you're a marketing agency, Eric, and you're handling 20, 40, 60 clients at a time, that everything is organized, and to some degree a lot of things will be streamlined as well.
Yeah.
That's my vision for this product.
Yeah. No, I dig it. And I think, you have done enough content creation. You know the things you hate about it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, it's So like it's funny because it's like I'm fusing two things I'm like really trying to work on together, which is like social media marketing,
Sure.
the application to help me get there. But while I'm building this application, I'm finding that I have more to talk about on my social media because now I'm branding myself
Yep.
as um, the RAG specialist and the fine tune models guy. Like essentially cloning your knowledge into a RAG database and fine tune model. I want to own that corner. I think that we have enough people trying to own like the N8N circle with like, like a Nate Herc or
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So people targeting like the, not to say that like development is easy, but it's just like the no code, low code route.
There's just a lot of
And
yeah. There's a lot of people there.
yeah, and there's not enough, and I know this for sure because I'm looking for them, but there's not enough people talking about like how to practical use cases for RAG databases, practical use cases for fine-tune models, when to use a fine-tune model, when not to use a fine-tune model, how expensive fine-tune models are, and literally skipping the line here and talking about, okay, this is how you actually build an AI orchestration. Because I have for the last month been building it wrong. And then I was just like, oh, I actually know how to build a well AI orchestrated workflow with multi agents. And it's like it took me a while to get there because there's not a lot of people building, actually. There's a lot of people building with N8N and blah, 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 and vector databases and giving out skills that MD for free and be like, you could talk just like Hormozy. Bullshit. I can tell you straight up. It's all BS, right? It's all good marketing, but it's not real. It's not a real AI system. And
That's
I want to own that lane.
yeah. Let's go. And now for people listening, you are a full stack developer, long time, true developer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm still working at my day job currently. And so I work at JP Morgan Chase. I'm a senior engineer
Yeah.
for the last like whatever, like 8, 9 years, but I've been doing development for over 10 years. So I know a couple of things,
Yeah, you
right?
do. Good.
I thought even I was just like, man, this is difficult to understand. So if I feel like that, then I can't imagine how many people um, feel like that as well.
Oh
Which
yeah.
is why,
Yes. The runway is clear for takeoff.
oh, for sure, yeah, yeah, no, no, no. It's so that's kind of where I'm at right now. Um, I talked to Casey like I don't know, maybe like 6 months ago or more. And one of the things that he told me on our call was that I shouldn't be going toward marketing agencies. But I think that because of my offerings at that time, I didn't have as much value to offer them. So I would ask you a question right now, Eric, which is
Sure.
based about me, based on what you've seen thus far, and like what phase two would look like, which would be essentially like a full-on um, uh, AI strategist for your content. Um, what would you do in order to uh, try to grab the attention from the people who would benefit from this most?
Yeah, I am. Um, Obviously, I have a media company and I'm running social media for some of our own clients as well. Primarily, we're in AI services and integrating those two differently than what you're doing. The the stuff, I mean, the voices I'm listening to are the people you have access to, but I believe them based on what I'm seeing with Andromeda. So, for those who don't know, Andromeda is Meta's new AI operating system for ads. It's the AI integration. So instead of running one ad campaign on, forcing the money on different ad sets, instead you're creating one ad set and putting a ton of content in there with unique call outs. Uh,
Yeah,
why am I highlighting that? Because what they've realized is the more hyper niche, the better it performs because it appears to be true organic content on the platform. So, in a perfect world, according to Meta right now, organic and ads are not different. And so, I have seen Hormozy talking about this, obviously, but Gary Vaynerchuk is killing it right now, just saying, hey, both of them post a lot of organic content, even if it's on multiple channels, Don't play to the algorithm. Post what's sincere about your brand. But when you see something pop off organically, then turn it into an ad because you know it's going to work. And if you can even create constraints around geographies, like literally your area of the country, let's pick, I don't know, the nation's capital. Let's say you're in Washington, D.C., and you draw a 10-mile radius around there and you run ads for people there. I'm finding, at least for our own business, what is winning is local. I mean, I've had, obviously, clients calling in from other places, but nothing is beating local. I mean, I went to lunch this morning. I was on phone this afternoon. I'm working on a project right now. Since then, that's 3 in one day, just from local business, word of mouth, friends, networking, events, all that sort of stuff. So I would do exactly that. I would post a ton of content, see what outperforms your mean average, right? And then run those as ads in a geographical space, low dollar, and just keep doing it.
Okay.
It's still a long-term play, but I think the market is hungry. For me, I've also seen another kind of ad that is really good. It's by Gannon Weber, Gannon. I want to say it's Meyer, Meyer. Guy's killing it right now in the automation space for, he teaches people ManyChat and those kinds of automations. And one thing he's doing that's a format that I love is, if I were the brand strategist for XYZ famous person or company, this is what I'd do. And he gets right into it. And he said what's fun is people love to see that as a spectator, but then there's the chance that that person might actually see it. But if not, people who want to be like that person or identify in a similar category will see it. And it's blown up for him, and he's seen it blown up for other people. I love that idea, especially in the AI space. What you're doing, hey, if I were content manager for so-and-so, here's the drill I'd run. And then you demo your thing. And you're showing it in real time. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Actually, that sounds like a really great plan. And I'm gonna play around with that too, because I think that there's so many different use cases for something like like an AI coaching strategist or whatever the case is.
Yep.
There's similar build process, right? It's like once you build it one time, it can actually, a lot of it can be reused, because at that point it's just like, okay, well, we have this industry that's using it for personal branding, but we might have another one that's just like straight up business, and then we have like another one that's like specifically for ads.
Yeah.
Right. So all kind of like it, like you could just add on to it. So I think that what you're saying actually makes a lot of sense. So I'm gonna steal that.
You don't have to, and you don't have to pay for it. It's literally, you're only paying once the content has proven itself to outperform your normal organic average.
Yeah.
I know you and I have gone through iterations of that, and it's only because it's evolving and it's moving. Before we had to test through balloon ads and ad copy and all this, and now you can still do that. You probably should once you get to an economic position to afford it. But like, nothing beats posting organic. I heard Gary Vaynerchuk say last night to a group of guys. He said, "Hey, I would recommend you get 2 new channels and post 50 times a week instead of 1 time a week, just to see what outperforms organically, and then you can take that and repost it on your primary page, so you're not polluting your primary page with all these posts." And I was like, that is really freaking great. And then put money on it.
Yeah.
I can tell you that's what I'm doing in the future. So, I mean, with this show, with any of my content, I am still in the weeds. I've got taxes, and I'm cleaning up. I literally cleaned my desk all afternoon. I can see it. There's actual wood here. And then email and taxes. But after that, next week, I am having to put a lot of these things together. I think where it's headed is, when do we need a human in the loop, and what other times do we not? So things like writing the post, the hashtags. Can we get the editing done without a human in the loop? Thinking node-based as opposed to function-based.
Yeah.
That's masterful. But other than like me on a camera, if I could send that file somewhere and it just magically appears online perfectly, that would be a perfect world.
World. Yeah. I mean, I think that a lot of people hype about, I think it's called Remotion or something like that.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, People hype it. I think it's like really, really interesting for like a use case.
What are you
But I've like
seeing with it? I've not messed with it.
I've looked at the
I have
API
seen the
and I've seen
videos.
the and like the videos are like extremely basic, like super basic.
Hmm.
So, but it doesn't really tell me that like it's ready for like a commercial use, right? But I can see that like they would get better or at least good enough that you may not need an editor. I think that people are, because they're really great marketers, they're just like, you don't need an editor today. And I'm just like, I just spent 12 minutes to learn that I actually do need to keep my editor. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, I'm telling you, man, people do anything for the click, you know, like they'll do it.
Man.
Uh, but yeah, so yeah, I would say this. I think it's interesting. I do want to explore that. But you know, like I'm very much so about like, okay, well, let me first get like a really, really good, solid version down that has like basically no bugs, clean UI into the marketplace, and
Yep.
then like really build out what people want. I really am excited to start working with people and then having them like tear down all my dreams and hopes and tell me how to make it better so I can actually make it
Yep.
better.
Yep. I think that's right. And you can build. I mean,
Yeah,
build on what's solid now, right, and then add
yeah,
it
yeah,
as
yeah,
it evolves. You'll be way ahead. So I think there's a real need. I think people hate what you're fixing. They hate the problem you're fixing. So that's really great news. I don't know anybody that's like, I can't wait to write captions, or I
yeah.
can't wait to
No,
write hashtags. Like,
I was doing this manually. I was just like, I had to download the video and then I had to post it to every platform.
mm-hmm.
I was just like, okay, well, how can I not do that? Yeah, it was like it took me a while to get to this place where it's just like easy for me to make
Sure.
content. Yeah,
And I mean, if
easy.
it, one of the proofs that you know it's going to work is that you're your own test case. Russell Brunson is kind of famous for saying, you know, your ideal client is you 5 years ago. In AI, there is no 5 years ago, so 5 months ago, right? And that's
Yeah,
exactly the market you're addressing. So you have very intimate proximity to the pain that you're trying to fix, and can say like, you know how much you hate it when this. Well, have I got a solution? You know, and you're not being disingenuous. You're being sincere. Like,
yeah.
I fixed this problem. You know, what was that old? You remember? I don't know if you're even old enough for this, but there was like in the 90s or maybe early 2000s, there was a guy who used to come. It was called the Hair Club for Men. He's like, and not only am I the president, but I'm a customer. And he would.
It's almost, yeah, like you know what? People don't understand how bad ads were back in the day. You know what I'm saying? People are blessed right now with these kind of ads. Because I remember going to the Men's Warehouse because I had to wear a uniform to school.
Yeah, man.
Uh, and the Men's Warehouse famously was just like, um, in my I'm saying when you're here, your family, but it's just because these are two Italian guys. So I keep on mixing up all of them at Men's Warehouse. So Men's Warehouse, he was just like you're gonna like the way you look. And I would go there and I'm like, I never felt that way. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, all this look makes me look like I'm about to get a 401k and 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 never smile again. Like that's how I felt like at the Men's Warehouse.
Wow. That's there you go. I know exactly what you're talking about. Well, dude, good to see you today. I've got to pop on another call. Somebody else is waiting in line, but appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Hey, these spots, I'm gonna start drumming up a lot more. Right now, I'm just like really lightly, grand opening. So last
Yeah,
week
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't turn on the microphones till halfway through the first person, and then, um, getting, for you, it took me 30 seconds to realize the camera wasn't on the right angle. All that to say, until it becomes high demand, I welcome, you coming on as much as you want to. I'll look forward to. I'd rather
All right.
talk to my friends.
I love that. I would love for you to, if you take care of social media marketing, customers and stuff like that, I would really like for you to demo the
Sure.
products. Like roast me, dude. Roast me.
Okay.
That's what I would love. I
Absolutely.
appreciate.
You know how to hit me up.
Thank you so much,
All
Eric.
right, buddy. See you soon.
That's it.
Bye.
Okay.
All right, friends. That's my friend Aaron. Guy's been killing it for 6-8 months. You heard him say. So, you know exactly what we're talking about. He's talking about AI, obviously, in marketing. He's going to roll out this product, but the most important thing is consistency, and his product is addressing consistency, preventing errors, posting, doing the editing, aligning the editing with the content and all that. If you want to hear more from Aaron, reach out either in the comments or send me a DM and I can connect you. I will look forward to that in the future. So looks like we have a full slate today. Let's go to the next caller. Okay. All right, while we're waiting on our guest to arrive, let me just say, you know, the one of the things that we highlighted there in that last call with Aaron is what I've heard Russell Brunson say, and I find is true with me. Like, your best client is you 5 years ago. So, come on, Alexander. How are you, sir?
Great, Eric. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, Eric.
Is it Brian?
Yes, Brian.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Let me get my setup here. Bring you guys in visually. Where are you guys calling from today?
We're from Boston, Massachusetts.
Let's go.
Yeah. What about yourself?
Yeah, Nashville, Tennessee, Southeast United States. Remind me, guys, I've been on so many calls. Forgive me, I just cannot remember. Have we been on the phone before? I feel like we have. No? Okay.
No, we haven't. Nope.
No.
All right, very good. All right, cool. Let's rock and roll. I have got it set up on my end. I hate to see the Firefly note takers. That makes for a lousy call. So I always have to like pin us and then change the arrangement so people aren't looking at it.
I just lost you guys.
What's that, Alex?
How's your on?
Oh, I don't know if you can hear us. Alex, can you hear us?
No, he said he just lost us. Well, Brian, you say you're in Boston, Massachusetts. Man, oh, I think I just heard him again.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I wanted to.
Awesome.
I just can't see you, but maybe that's on my end. Let me see, because I had to pin you and then unpin you a minute ago.
Yeah, I can see him.
Yep, it's just on me. Very cool. Very cool. Guys, welcome in. I don't know. I'm sure you went through the ringer on all of the sign-offs to get in, but as a reminder, this call is currently live. We're in beta, just kind of experiment with AAA, broadcasting my coaching calls. And so before we start, I just need to read a disclaimer, if that's cool. It just to say, by joining this call, you agree that these conversations may be recorded and broadcast live and in future replays across all platforms. This is coaching, not legal, financial, or professional advice, and of course, you're responsible for your own decisions and results. So, if you're good with that, let's talk about business.
Cool.
Awesome.
Man, give me a little bit about you guys, your business background, how you got into AI, how you end up at AAA. How long? First, before you do that, how long have you been in the community?
Since January. Yeah, since January. So we joined in January. It was at the start of like the new year. This is something that we wanted to do. A little why we wanted to get started is, you know, because we've been following the market in technology and AI for quite a bit. I've been in technology sales for almost a decade now. I started my career at Oracle. Was most recently at Salesforce, the big CRM company. And now I'm in the data and AI space. I work for a solution integrator for Snowflake. And so been doing a ton of research, and typically I sell to like enterprise size organizations where they're, you know, paying service providers a ton of money to get, you know, AI solutions implemented. And a gap that Brian and I saw, because Brian will get into what he does, but in the small to medium sized business opportunity is like, you know, there's a ton of automation and enhanced operations that you can bring to those organizations. But Brian, why don't you jump in and then we can kind of talk about kind of why we wanted to set up this call.
Yeah, and so Alex and I have known each other for about 10 years or so. I actually own and manage a bunch of gyms. So we have 7 different gyms around kind of the Boston area.
Okay.
So, you know, in the beginning, it was really just like opening the next one, putting the procedures in place, operations in place. And now that, kind of things are running pretty smoothly, we have all the operations down and kind of I just manage the day to day with everyone. We have a host of employees. So, Alex and I felt like we would be a good team to team up together just from the operations side of things and the sales kind of side of things. When it comes to the accelerator, we got into this program to learn more about the AI space and learn more about kind of the AI agency model. And it's been great so far. We've learned a lot. We do lack the skills of the development side. So kind of where we're at right now is, one, continuing to learn, and two, finding folks within the accelerator or outside the accelerator to partner up with, or find a host of developers that can help us create some of these products that we're trying to bring to clients. Where we are right now is we're kind of still we have a lot of good connections and network up here with folks that own their own businesses. So it's pretty easy to get conversations started with people. Even just from our warm leads, we have about 70 to 80 contacts that we know. We pick up the phone and give them a ring. They're all going to be down to talk with us, and we've had those conversations with people. The thing that we're struggling with right now is we kind of went the general approach of having these discovery calls, going into kind of an AI audit with some of them, and where we're falling short is executing with it, finding the right developers, finding people that can help us actually bring this product to life. And where we're also starting to see it being pretty challenging is from the general side of things, right? Like one person, like for example, a roofing company that we talked to, their situation is very different from a massage therapy, from a physical therapy, from a fractional CFO that we've talked to, and we're kind of just trying to implement things into their company that are general and really custom. And why we booked this call is the success manager that we talked to, Mariana, I believe her name is, she said to link up with you to kind of help us hopefully kind of steer a path of like what we want to do, right? Like, for example, we know that a lot of the people that we talk to can benefit from a voice AI agent. And we feel, on one side of things, it's like, all right, should we go all in on just the voice AI agent and kind of niche down on exactly that, or even on top of that, niche down to even a specific industry with the AI agent, like a phone agent or something, or do we still kind of have these conversations and build out custom stuff with developers? But unfortunately, it's hard to source the right developers. We had a lot of talk with a lot of people, and it's just we're having a tough time executing that. So we have leads, we have people that want to do this with us, but we're having a tough time of making it happen, and then also kind of looking into like scaling this thing down the road, where granted we don't have that business yet, but it is becoming a lot with custom solutions, and if we should be niching down.
Yeah. Well, there's lots.
I know that was a lot. But
there's lots to unpack there. Let's talk about a couple things. So, I think you've started in the right place. I think being a generalist is absolutely great. The reason is, in the beginning, I am fond of saying that business is like a plane or like a boat in a harbor. Any direction is the right direction, even if it's the wrong direction in the beginning, because momentum is the most important thing. And just like a plane runway may be facing the wrong direction, you still have to achieve liftoff before you can steer and find the proper heading. And I mean that literally. That's exactly how we built our business. I want to serve in this space. And rather than choose my own niche and say, I'm going to go after XYZ kind of companies, just start talking about it. I just need somebody, right? And so that was a little over a year ago. And at this point, I'm still a fully custom shop. I have dialed in on a particular quadrant. I won't even say niche yet. I would say quadrant. But what happens is word gets out. And so the approach that I have, you can absolutely do what you're talking about. So where you decide to go on voice agents, and then you go, okay, I'm going to go all in on voice agents on roofing companies or on medical spas or whatever that is, somebody who's a high input or intake kind of industry. That would be great, especially if you can become known for that. It's just, is that a good fit for you, and what data did you use to make that decision? So for me, the reason I have stayed in the generalist camp is because my offer is the same to everyone, and it's worth it if I don't get past that initial offer, which is a discovery, because that's pay for play for me. So now the first couple aren't, but once you've served 3 in any industry, you start charging a fee, you can go up. So if I'm at a level 1, let's call it, just for sake of mental pictures, a level 1 or a single A client, you might serve them for free, but after you have a couple of those, a level 2 client will respect the review or case study or testimonial of the level 1 and be willing to take business. But you couldn't skip to like a level 10. Does that make sense? Like $1 million company's not gonna take your business because of a free referral you got. So some of that is contextual, but I found at this point, I use price to exclude clients I don't want to work with. And if they can't afford the job, then that lets me know they're looking for me to fix or save or somehow deliver their business. Whereas if they can afford the audit or whatever you call it in your world, discovery sprint for me, discovery audit, if they can afford it, then I know they have the CapEx budget to move forward on development. They're looking to invest in the future, which means they've reserved funds for that. So for me, an audit is $1,500 per conversation usually. What does that mean? If I'm going into a team of 6, that's $8,000 to $9,000. Between 5 and 10 is my personal sweet spot. It just depends on what you need. And then when I go in there, I've developed certain products that are universal to any white collar, generally office-based employee. And then I'm also looking to discover unique items that they may need me to develop. The difference is I'm not looking to go in and sell specific things. I'm looking to find out what their real problems are and then use value-based pricing as opposed to generic pricing for a particular commodity, because I don't want to become a commodity. So to give you an idea, I mean, I shipped $146,000 in contracts last week. Mm-hmm. Now, that's a result of 3 months, but $150,000 a quarter is not a bad way to go, you know? Today, I sent out $10,000 in contracts. And I would say half of that is for the same product that I've learned to contextualize for a certain kind of person. It's a completely custom product and service that's only dependent on me, doesn't even involve developers. Everything else, it's a developer. I have 3 teams of developers, and I use a bid system just like any contractor would. I want the right player in the right position, right? So not every developer is a good fit for every kind of thing, but you can. I highly recommend starting as a generalist, because you get into these businesses and you learn what their real problems are. You ask them what they hate most, they'll tell you. You can find it pretty quick, actually. So, and then build solutions for that. That would be. I'm sure you don't need a business lesson for me, but you have Rockefeller and you have Carnegie, right? Rockefeller said, I want to own everything on that shelf. So he bought every gas station. Whereas Carnegie said, I want to own everything in the process of creating my product. So he delivered steel, but he wanted to own the mine too, and everything on the way through manufacturing. And you can do either one of those. I'm taking the vertical approach, which is a little bit more Carnegie, just because I haven't arrived at the thing that's so, I'm close, but the thing that's such a fireworks display for me, I want to go horizontal. I'd just rather stay vertical because I can get a lot on the way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I agree with that approach, and I think that's where Brian and I differ. I also understand what Brian's trying to say, that it would be easier and quicker execution, but I think it would limit us on the amount of opportunities. Like, I think there's a lot of other different types of small businesses. You know, I think like if you just limited yourself to voice agent for roofing businesses, like that's great. Like we would probably have the same 2 or 3 developers that are just like printing these out. Granted, you know, you're probably not going to get like a plethora of opportunities because you're really just focusing on like that one industry and that one product.
Yeah.
But I think what Brian is also trying to say is like where we feel like we're at a point where we're stuck. Like we're having, I think when we first started, we've had conversations with like, the same thing, like the roofer, the massage place, the physical therapy place. I think the massage place and the physical therapy place, those were both kind of hard. I don't know what you think about like kind of like the healthcare field. Like they get into like soap notes and like HIPAA, and
Yeah.
those have been a little bit like maybe we are just barking up the wrong tree. It's like
Yeah.
maybe we should know like, all right, let's get away from like the healthcares of the world.
Yeah.
But for us, it's like we're just like trying to close our first deal, and
Yeah. Yeah.
we so let me take a step back. When we first started having these discovery calls, I know you're a business coach, and it sounds like you're well versed and you know what you're doing. Like we were first trying to do like a full blown audit for like our first call.
Sure.
Like we were trying to uncover like everything possible that we could potentially automate, and then we'd be like, oh well, we didn't ask this, then we didn't ask this, and we'd set up another call to get even more. And it's like, wait, we've already uncovered like 3 or 4 use cases.
Yeah, that's right.
Like and so I think for us too, I don't want to say we're embarrassed, but we're like, because we're reaching out to our own network, we're also leading them to believe like, hey, we're just trying to get like what Liam kind of teaches you, like get a couple wins first, so then you can start charging, and then you can start understanding your worth. And so like the prime example, we just got off this physical therapy business that's a friend of ours, and we're like, hey, like we're not going to do a full-blown AI audit. Let's just pick one thing. Let's focus on it. And he's just trying to automate his front desk.
Yeah.
He doesn't want someone sitting there all day, booking appointments, booking, insurance stuff. And so we heard retail was a good solution, and we heard the implementation from retail is $9,000. And so like now we go to like, now we're like embarrassed to go back to the guy and be like, hey, like implementation's like 9,000. And they're not doing the plethora of stuff that we thought. They're only doing like just simply answering the phone.
The voice
like,
agent. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like that's kind of, so then now where we're at with that is like now we're just like, all right, fuck, now what do we do? Right. And so we put out posts, like we have like 40 developers in our, like the first kind of caveat was like, oh, we don't know who's going to develop. We put out a post in the community, like 40 people responded. I do this, I do that. Here's some work I've done. Like, so we have like a plethora of people that we can go to, but like, we don't even really know what the hell we're building. Like, hey, we have a HIPAA thing, we have like a voice agent thing, they do physical therapy. And when you reach out with kind of like an AI summary of the discovery call you had, everyone's building it like completely differently.
Yeah.
And everyone's charging completely differently. So then we get like analysis paralysis again, where we're like, well, fuck, like what's the right way to do it? And this guy's our friend, so we don't want to build this incorrect, and we don't want to overcharge him. So
Sure.
That's kind of where we're at.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. You,
I'm glad you're laughing because I laugh at it too.
I know exactly how that feels. What do I do now? Yeah, man,
Yeah.
I get it. So you just before I forget, bookedin.ai, that Liam has a collaboration with them. I know that is booking agents. So exactly what you're talking about. So what would be worthy of time would be figuring out how you can put together an inbound suite, right? SUITE, of, maybe it's an incoming call, maybe it's email, maybe it's text, whatever the client would have, you've got options. It calendarizes, schedules, both for the service provider as well as for the client, interacts on Slack, pings them. That, I believe Bookedin is very robust like that. I think it's built on a Go high level platform. It's only like $500 a month for yourselves to spin up, and it's very easily customizable with very little education. So I would highly look at that. Depending, Bookedin, BOOKEDIN.ai. Again, I don't know all the functionality, but he's raved about it in the past. You need to be able to hone in on a project requirement document, a PRD. You'll hear that word a lot from developers, but basically, what do you need it to do? And if you can't describe it to, there's this old, I come from a long line of public speakers and ministers, and there's this old country saying, if it's a mist in the pulpit, it's a fog in the pews. And what that really means is, if you don't exactly know what you need, there's no way you're going to be able to communicate to a developer what you need. So a project requirement document is a way of outlining. There's skills for that. If you don't, you need to create your own Claude skill. I have one that walks me all through my audits. It takes transcripts, notes, pictures, whatever I upload, synthesizes it, runs it through an entire organization, and I can do it in 15 minutes. And at the end of that, it's going to go, oh, here's your sequential orders. Here's what's important. Here's what we recommend. And then I've got to create, if I can't read it in human English in a paragraph that says, here's the problem, here's the use case, this is how it would work to the user. And if I can't read that and go, oh, yes, of course, that makes sense, then it doesn't help me to progress to the next step, which is analyzing workflows, what automations, what tech would be involved. That's where a developer can be really helpful to me. And they will all have different opinions. Some will use Vercel and Supabase and GitHub. Some will use GitHub and Railway and something else. But you need to get good at a PRD, which is just a markdown file. And their AI can read it really quickly. But being able to say, what do you want the thing to do? And having that really clearly defined, that is so important. Because it's just like going to get a burger. Hey, do you want onions? Do you want ketchup? Do you want mustard? I know that's super minimal example, but if you can't do that, then you're gonna continue to get overwhelmed with people's requests. So that would be the first thing. Being able to analyze that for yourself. Part of that is knowing what is possible. And I understand that you've only been doing it since January. And the dang thing, the whole world of AI changes every 3 days, it seems like. So it's a little frustrating. What's not changing is businesses. Businesses have leadership, they have marketing, right? Lead generation, sales, ops, internal ops, customer ascension ladders, and the whole deal. Like there's only 6 or 7 things that you
Can I share something with you, Eric?
Yeah.
To see, like, so what we typically do is, and sorry to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
So what we've done is we've built stuff like this. Right. So this is the physical therapy business that we're talking about. I put together I put almost like I think this is almost like a PRD, like, hey, here's what the executive summary is. Here's current operations. Here's what we uncovered, like this tool number 1, the voice agent. Here's what we needed to do. Here are the scenarios. Here's what we expect behavior, outbound call capabilities, whatever. And this is the document. And this is kind of long, right?
Sure.
So maybe this is way too long. You're like, dude, this is way too much information.
Well, it's fine.
But this is what we then send to developers to like get their take on what to build. And I think that's sometimes where we get overwhelmed. We're like, everyone's building it differently, and the prices range from 2,000 to 20,000.
Yeah.
It's like, so.
Yeah, depending, pricing is a real issue right now. That's just, full stop on that. Things that have changed in AI that I was bidding in January for $60,000 now cost me $30,000 from the same developer. And it's because I know that it doesn't cost them that much, and I'm going to not receive a price that's different. Resume's part of that. If the developers in our community need a job as much as you do, they may charge $2,000, but it may be a $20,000 job to a guy making $300. You know what I mean? It's hard to say. Price is value based, and even the price they give you is value based. So if they give you a price that's $20,000, then they may be whale hunting, but it also may be that that's an accurate portrayal of the price they would need to make it worth it to them. So that's where you just have to do a little bit of research. You may, I literally use my Claude Code, whatever you prefer, to analyze their specs. And so I require them to give me a document back that matches
you can run through Claude.
My intake. I give them a bid proposal package that includes the PRD and the template for their responses, as well as other URL links or whatever to similar work they've done. So that now I've got my team refined at this point, but it wasn't always that way. And that way I can combine apples to apples and go, and it will know, hey, Claude will know, this person is wrong. This person is much more intelligent. They're thinking a lot better about these things, and help you analyze it.
I know we got 5 minutes left. I do have 2 questions. One is with some of the things that you're mentioning, PRD, Claude prompts or Claude skills. Do you have any collateral that you share with the students that can help them throughout their process?
Yeah, what I can do is tell you how I did it, and I mean, I'm not allowed to just give the assets to you. In fact, they frown on that. You have to. I'm allowed to coach, but I can't do. Is kind of what the rule is there. But the way that I did it is inside of the community. Actually, let me just show you the exact.
And then the second question while you pull that up is, where do we go from here? Like we haven't started inbound systems yet because we're at the point where we're like, we can't even get our own personal connections figured out and executed on. And so I don't know.
Sure.
I mean, maybe we're just making up excuses, but like we just feel kind of stuck. Like we also had questions. We talked to Mariana about like, do we use Lovable to build us a website, or is it too early to build us a website? Because like I feel like that is credibility when you're going to some of these folks and telling them, you know. So
let me give you this, and then I'll answer the website thing. If it takes you more than an hour to build a website, you did it wrong, and I mean that just like it sounds. So okay, here we go. So we're under resources. If you go to Morningside Updates, there is I want to say it's number. It won't be the 2.3. I want to say it's number 8 and 9. But either way, two of these with one in between is a part A and a part B of their own auditing process. They literally walk you through it and give you a link to a Notion document. Let me click here. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so number 8 is part A. Number 9 is part B. Number 8. Oh, sorry. Is that right? Yeah. Number 8 and 9. Oh, that's a webinar. Okay. So number 8 is part A of how they do the audit. Part 9 is how they deliver it. And I created my own Claude skill from there. With regard to how to do a website, the answer is get the data points together. Run it inside of, if you don't have Claude Code, that's totally fine. You can use Claude Cowork, but either way, tell it you want a lovable style website. It will know what you mean, and you don't have to buy Lovable. Tell it you want a lovable style website. It doesn't have to be more than a landing page. Give it your data, your colors, and if you don't have to have colors if you don't want to, and any headshots you want of yourself, and ask it to code it. It will do it right there. It will be usable in the artifacts channel, and then right to the side, I'm sure you're familiar, and then just like with Claude Online, it will open up a thing on the side, and then you push it. So this will take you just a moment, but it'll change your life. You will need a GitHub, which is just a place where blueprints live. That's all GitHub is. It's just where structures live on paper. Oh, my timer's going off. For the next call. So you push it to GitHub, and then Vercel is a website that takes GitHub and publishes it on a URL, and it hosts it. And then if you needed it connected to a database, it's called Supabase. All 3 are free. Doesn't cost you $1. You ask Claude how to set up the authorization tokens. Once you do, it's right away. Like I just cranked out a website for my cousin who's running for a political office in 30 minutes while my wife drove going down the interstate. And it's really good. So you can absolutely do it. It's not hard at all. And then all you do is you go buy a URL on whatever your preferred provider is, like GoDaddy, and you forward the DNS link, again, not hard to do, to that Vercel site, and you're off to the races, and that excuse is gone. I totally agree with you. It's really beneficial to have a website.
Okay. Last question. Do you recommend that we try to go down the developer path also while learning the business side, or not necessary to be successful in this business?
Developing as yourself?
Yeah.
What I recommend is that
you do both, the business and the development.
Yeah, you need to really get good at I would tell you that probably, let's take that $100,000 thing I just turned in. 90% $1,000 of that is me doing it by myself, and it doesn't require more than Claude co-work, Claude code skills. True development, though, I don't play. I'm not a developer. I can't even read it. So, but I'm good at understanding what is required and creating the PRD. If you can get good at that and learn some of the language from the developers, you will only need a developer for really difficult things. Voice agents should not be one of those things, but you would have to learn it yourself. It's not coding as I understand it. Booked in AI is definitely not coding. If so, it's worth it to spend on the developer so that you close the deal and make a little bit. I have no trouble making people wealthy. It's my favorite thing to do. So if I can pay a developer 50%, I'm glad to, as long as the project gets delivered and makes my client really happy. Does that make sense? So you do not have to learn to be a developer. Hard stop, no. But you do have to be able to communicate as a technical liaison. I have a technical liaison if the job gets too big, which is somebody who speaks sales and business and also developer who can stand in the middle on large jobs. But most of the time you're running interference for that yourself. You're talking to the client, talking to the developer. You need to be able to do that efficiently, no question. But that does not require learning how to code. I would recommend going all in on learning how Claude Code itself works, though. That's going to be increasingly important. And I'm even having to play catch up for myself on that, too.
Yeah, there was a session today at 4 a.m. Nice.
I'll watch the replay.
Austin, I know we're over on time.
We are.
I don't know if you have any last minute.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, my pleasure. Guys, you can't do it wrong per se, but you need traction. And I have just found the easiest way is to be available to serve everybody. And once I get in there, see what's under the hood, I go, you know what? I really like working on radiators. Let's go this way. I have done that many times now. And so I have developed my own niche product suite that's killing it for me. But it's only because I served 20 clients, right? And then I went, oh, they all need this. So that's why I'm very strongly recommend being a generalist in the beginning and working with people and what they need. But there's a lot more you can do to change their life than, as an administrative staff than just a voice agent. If that's what they want, awesome, do it. And that comes down to identifying the client, kind of client you want to serve and stuff in the beginning.
And you can share some past projects you've done and kind of see how you've done it. Is that not?
Yeah, I can. We can talk about it. Absolutely. It just needed to book another call. I gotta go, guys.
Right.
Good to see you.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah. Bye. All right. Awesome. So I'm a few minutes late jumping in the next call. That's pretty normal. We get in these conversations and they end up being wonderful, and they go a little long. So let's see Evo. All right. Let this brother in. Ba-ba. Hello.
Hey.
Hey, my friend. How are you, sir?
I'm good, and you?
Good. Good to see you. It's been a long time.
True, yeah. I was off for a bit. I went to Mexico for a friend's wedding, one of my best friends.
Okay.
So we were traveling around there a bit.
You're a world traveler for sure. You're always somewhere else. Whenever I talk to you, you're like, oh, sorry, I'm not in Florida anymore. Now I'm back in Portugal. Like,
I've been trying to settle down a bit now.
Good. Hey, before we dive in, as you remember, this is kind of an experiment in live calls for me. And so I just need to read a disclaimer before we get going, if that's all right.
Yeah.
It just says that by joining this call, you understand and agree that this conversation can be recorded and broadcast live and in future replays across all platforms. This is coaching, not legal, financial, or professional advice. So you're just responsible for your own decisions and results. So if you're good with that, let's build some.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, catch me up. How have you been?
I've been good. Yeah, I've been good. I mean, when we last spoke was like some days before I left. So then I was just working for a bit in Florida. I started doing some outreach. And yeah, now there's some deals popping up in some different directions, which is nice.
What
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what direction have you decided on?
So I kept doing the LinkedIn. I started applying more for events,
Okay.
like trying to look for in-person events. I applied for a conference.
Like we talked to you
and
about going to conferences and workshops, so you can, yep.
Yeah, exactly. And the email I haven't started yet. I was just waiting to return. I'm just organizing everything, and next week I might start doing some email. But there's still a question I have regarding my positioning. I still feel like I'm quite general.
Okay.
And something that has been on my mind, like AI is advancing super fast.
That is an understatement.
Exactly. And the world is also changing super fast in a lot of directions. When I was doing my thesis, one of the things, when I was speaking my topic, one of the things I reflected was that I didn't just want to push AI forward faster. So that's why I went to studying like neurosymbolic AI through alignment. And now I feel like in my business, I lost that a bit, and I'm just, okay, I help businesses implement AI. So I was thinking of focusing more on businesses that are trying to have a positive impact in the world. So it's still not focused on a specific sector or industry, but it's more of a filter.
Yeah.
You know, for who I work with and what I'm helping, who I'm helping move faster. Are they just trying to maximize profit, or are they trying to do something nice?
Yep.
But I'm still a bit afraid if this is a good move or not. One, because it's hard to filter for this. I need to really analyze. I can't go to Apollo and get a list of businesses that are like positive impact. I mean, I can use AI to filter this, but still it's harder to find. And I feel like in general, these businesses are a lot more cautious around AI.
Yep.
And which I appreciate. I don't want to work with businesses who are just like, oh, give me the latest thing. But I'm just trying to think this through. I've spoken to another coach who said that this might be like too small of a niche, but I don't think so, but I'm not sure if it's a good idea or if I'm just constraining myself too hard.
So I just pulled up a definition. There was a book years ago, I think it was called Green Swans, but it talked about a B Corp, and it is searchable. So a B Corp, right, certification is meant for businesses that want to balance profit with broader stakeholder impact, not just shareholder returns. Companies are evaluated with B Labs standards, which cover areas like workers, community, environment, governance, and customers. So there is a definable sector who have said things like that. You know, and there's multiple approaches. I don't do. Let me just give you my personal answer.
Yeah.
There are certainly people who get into business for the wrong reasons. I have somebody I am affiliated with who I see regularly who just talks to me all the time about how much money they want to make. That does not motivate me. I of course I want to make as much money as possible, no question. But I believe, especially coming from a personal faith position, that the way I do that is by serving, not dominance. So I'm not looking to climb the ladder, climb over people, you know, be a bad steward of the earth, financial resources, relationships, governance at any cost to get what I want. And I find that while there are some people in that category, for the most part, people are in business for good reasons. Whether in their particular moment in life they're feeling connected to those reasons, right?
Yeah.
I meet very few people who would naturally align with the bad guy in the script. Most people see themselves as a good guy, as a good woman, who they're like, you know what? I'm here to pay for my family. I want to make as much money, sure, but I want to serve people. I want to help with goods and services that move everybody forward, and I also want to make a bunch. I want to provide benefits and all this sort of stuff, and ultimately I want to get home to my family and the thing that matters most to me. So I think I'm of the impression that unless I have a core tension with something about who I am about a business, I'm comfortable working with most any business based on what's on the door. Now, when I get in there, I have had people I have just said no to. You know what? I don't think I'm a good fit for you guys. And they wanted me. They wanted to give me equity. And I was like, no, I just, something about this. I think you need somebody else for this job, And I don't want to step in here, tell you I'm going to deliver. It's not a good fit. And if they want reasons, I would come up with kinder reasons than telling them they feel scummy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I would say as a general position, I feel like most people, I feel like the hairstylist, the oil change place, the roofing contractor, the esthetician, like they're all doing business for good reasons. So I am quite happy to serve all of them but I often joke with my kids, like I like people like I like cats. I don't like all cats, but I like one cat at a time. Like I don't like cats in general at all. I like all dogs almost exclusively. Only certain ones I don't like. But with cats, it's like, I don't like cats, but I do like that cat. So with businesses, the same thing. I like all of them, but maybe not that one. So that's how I would approach it. And the other thing is, for me, I also believe it's my job to be an agent of change in the world. So this may sound arrogant, but I literally believe that by doing business with me, hopefully in that interaction, they will be better for it, and so will I. It's not a unilateral agreement. I'm not like helping, fixing people. I just mean I believe that by doing business with me, I'll be able to improve their life, make them more profitable, improve their systems, hopefully release some anxiety and tension, which is why most people are calling me at this point. They want less to do. And do some good and hopefully have a good relationship out of that, because if I do it well, they're going to be proactively willing to sing my praise and refer other people to me and so on and so forth. So that's not a pushback. That's just an invitation to go deeper on what you might believe is a humanitarian or equitable business. I believe all business is, withstanding a few. Does that make sense?
I totally see what you mean, and I'm of the same opinion, and I've done the same of trying to find ways of saying to someone I don't want to work with them. And I agree that whatever someone is doing, they can do it while wanting good for the world and being a good person. And I want to work with those people, but then there's still a difference of, okay, I have a hairstyling salon, or I have a marketing agency, or I have a non-profit who is exclusively focused on saving people in Africa that I found a certain disease. And whether making this distinction when I'm filtering makes sense or not.
To use that example, you ultimately have to make your own decision. To me, what makes the most genuine sense in that capacity is that I serve, because I have a nonprofit who reached out to me in the last quarter and said, hey, can you help us? And I was like, absolutely. Do they get a discounted rate? Absolutely. The reason I can afford to give them a discounted rate is because other people are paying full price.
Yeah.
So it's not a either or, it's a both and you just give them whatever discount you feel is equitable and reasonable in that case. And you might give it to them for free. You can't make a business out of giving people things for free, unfortunately.
But if I save them $10
and
I charge them $5, then it's still profitable. Especially if they are getting funding.
Yep. Yeah. And by all means, do it. Yeah, you just have to do value-based pricing where, if, like you say, if you're saving them 10, you charge them 5. The standard industry rate would be 1 or 2, by the way. So 10 to 20%.
Yeah. Just to give that example.
Yep.
Which is what I want to do, independently if I go through that niche or not. I want to work with a business where I'm making them more money than
Yep.
they are spending with me.
And that's my pricing approach no matter who the business is. My standard is 20%.
Yeah.
So if I save them 100 grand, I'm going to charge them 20. But I just have to be able to prove that with the math. That's all.
Yeah.
Not make it up
Yeah,
and be like,
exactly.
"Oh, it's going to be great." You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, I love your heart for that and your approach. I think it's both, and I think as you talk about it more, those kind of clients will present themselves. But I also think it's going to take some equitable, some businesses that are trying to turn a profit to fund your long-term development in that category, depending on the kind of nonprofits you have relationships with. You may have a ton. I just don't know what I'm talking about. But in my experience,
it doesn't need to be non-profits also, but yeah, in general, it ends up being companies who are making less profit because
Sure.
they're focusing less on it.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
More on
That's right.
Their mission.
As long as you can find ways. I don't know a CEO that if you save them 10 wouldn't be happy to give you 2. That would be a failed leader. So as long as you do value-based pricing, or what I've found is in value-based pricing, I've come across a niche offer that I make that is repeatable and scalable, and I'm charging a standard price for it per user. So, and that's going really well. But it took getting into organizations, learning what they need within a subset before I could arrive at that. So,
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like when I'm offering value-based pricing, the only thing standing between someone saying, "Of course, I'll take $10 and pay you $2," or not, is if they trust me or not.
that's right.
And without having a big number of clients, since I'm starting now, it's hard to create this trust out of the gate.
Yep. You definitely.
Which in general, not in this niche, is what has been my trouble. It's like, okay, I know I can provide value to this business.
Yep.
But he doesn't know that, and he doesn't.
We talked about this
necessarily trust
before.
me for it.
Being in AAA, you should at least be saying that you are a certified consultant with the largest AI development community in the world. Because if you've hit the consultant phase where we do certify you there, that's true. So, and then as you get other clients, there's this old proverb that says, "Let your praise be in another person's mouth and not your own." So if I can get other people to give me a review, a testimonial, a case study, and say, "It's great working with Erik," then that's all I have to say.
Yeah.
All 3 of the clients I have interacted with today came from other people. 2 of them from the same guy.
Yeah.
So when you get somebody who's a raving fan, and that guy I helped for free.
Yeah, exactly.
But now he's my best client. Like, do you see what I'm saying? He's a personal friend, but he's also my best client. And all I did was make sure he experienced true change with what I gave him. And now he's telling everybody about it. And this morning I updated him and said, "Hey, by the way, here's the pricing structure for what we're offering." He goes, "Great. Can you give me a little blurb about that? I'll tell everybody." So it does work. If it has to be free, fine. Just make sure it's a general enough offer that they can tell their friends and neighbors about it. To me, that offer has been a discovery audit, discovery sprint, call it what you want to. It's me sitting down with a person saying, "Hey, let's consider the question, how can you get more from AI in your business?" And the good news is I can help see that. And I have a team of people. So I'm going to come get information from you, process it with my team, which you also have at AAA. Anybody who's sold something at AAA, you can lay claim to because it's a part of your community. You paid for that privilege. So it's totally legit. By the way, anything the community develops, you can sell. You could literally walk up. I mean, I just saw somebody that's created a product that's $90,000. It reads architectural documents. Well, I have a client who could use that. So if I can agree on a price with that person and I can go resell it, all we have to do is install it. Right? So now I have this whole library of things. I don't have to be as creative as I think. I just have to have done the hardest first step, which is align myself with experts and other people who are ahead of me and in the same swimming pool and cross-pollinate. So I just think there's a lot of capacity there. If I were just getting started and I didn't have a client roster, I would be utilizing the wins column in the community to say, "Hey, here's stuff my team and I are seeing right now, and I would literally quote it and just show them, this is my teammate in Dubai, this is my teammate in Ireland, this is my teammate in Colombia, and show the wins we're having, and say, and I want to work with you too, because it's true. Those people are on your team, they're in your community, you have access to anything they've sold, you have access to all the coaching here, and I just think it's a total... Speed is so important. It's a lie to think you have to do everything on your own. Nobody has ever done anything on their own. That's a lie. Their pride told them that, but everything any of us have ever done has been built on the shoulders of other great people. Everything. Never mind, we didn't exist without our parents. So, like, it's just not true. So, as a person who comes from a family business, I understand that deeply on an economic level. I got nothing except what I was given, and now it's like, how can I be entrusted to use that going forward? You have, paid a price and put in good work and done research, and you've got the values and the things you care about. Let's make sure the good guys win and activate all of your tools and resources to see that happen. So, does that, I mean, I'm fired up about it right now, but does that make sense?
No. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And hearing you speak about it like that makes me realize I've underutilized the community a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I've been focusing on the coaching calls, which are super insightful. But the community, now I'm talking with a couple people for partnerships.
Yeah.
But I've only started focusing on that now.
Yeah. Well, I just think there's so much power there. And there's no reason. I mean, let's just say you're like, oh, I don't know if I have the permission to use that. Well, just ask them. Hey, I'd like to feature what you did. I'm going into a client to talk about it, and I'd like to share, your win or your recent whatever. Would that be okay? I mean, I can't imagine a person saying no.
Yeah.
They would. Why would they say no to that? Especially if there's a collaborative opportunity there. And there's no guarantee, but boy, there's some sweet stuff there. The thing you need is to be able, as because you're highlighting it, is you say they need trust, and you do. And so we have to say, okay, what can I do? What's in my power and what's honest and ethical that I can de-mitigate risk, right? How can I de-risk the situation? And the only way to do that's with trust and reputation and proven case studies or examples. So for me, I started with my first client was $1,750 all in. That was 5 hours of meetings and a deliverable. I was thrilled. I was beside myself. I had no intention of getting into AI. This person approached me. The Lord just tricked me into it. And suddenly I was like, oh, that's a chunk. I think I should go open an LLC. So I did. And a few months later, now I've been in business and obviously, my resume for a long time with my family. But AI was new for me last February, or whatever that is, 13, 14 months ago. So then to come into the community, and I just did what I'm recommending you do. Like, get in, dig in, listen, ask what people are doing, get the lay of land. You're way ahead on this. And then what do I need to do to make sure that when I go to a client, they're more likely to say yes than no? Okay, well, for me, again, a little bit of a leg up. I'm the business development coach at the largest AI development community in the world. Okay, I am a certified AI consultant with the largest AI development community in the world. And then I had a client who one thing led to another, and I became the graduate professor of AI at a university here. Those things together, nobody ever asked to see my resume. Now, I can show them and gladly would, but when you can say things like that in an elevator speech way that's quick, doesn't sound like you're being arrogant, you're saying it for them so they know, hey, I want to help you, and I'm proven as an entity, they will give you their business. They'll at least give you the phone call so you can earn it, Anyway, I get worked up because I want you to win, but half of that is...
No, that's great. Thank you. Yeah.
Telling yourself that narrative so you get worked up enough so that when you're in that phone call and you say that, you believe it. You know what I mean?
I feel like my credibility and my experience is very technical, which has been a bit of a hindrance in this journey of setting up a business, because I keep being like, okay, I'll code something or I'll build something. Yeah. And then I'm not talking to people. And if I'm talking to people about the technical roles I did, or they are like, okay, but will you help my business? Or will you talk about nerdy stuff to me? Which is very different.
It's very different.
But yeah, but I see what you mean. And when you point to the discovery, because that's also the main like entering offer, I think anyone wanting to use AI should start with that. So I want to offer that.
I agree.
But I still feel like I don't have like a punchy way of saying that, like a punchline or a tagline.
Sure. So the way that I do that, and it's not that sexy. And by the way, you can go to my website. It's rockcastle.ai, rockcastle.ai. You can just see my offer. I answer when people call and say, so what do? You say, I help businesses answer the question, I wonder how I can get more out of AI for my business. And they need somebody to trust. They want a human because they do care and because there is some risk involved and there's also great expense and they've heard the headlines. So I just say, hey, and then I drop my credentials in a way that says, see my muscles, whatever that means. I'm being silly, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I have more than enough capacity to help you, and I want to leverage my power for your good. And that's what everybody hopes, right? They want you. They're not looking for you to save their business, but they do have this fearful, anxious, growingly anxious moment with every headline they read. Oh my God, I got to get AI in my business. Like, I want you to know, and I mean this from a very missional standpoint. This whole show and my platform is build what matters and helping people build mission-based businesses. And dude, look, there are people within a golf ball shot of where you live who own businesses who wish they could find somebody to help them walk through AI in their business. I believe that. I believe there are people saying, Lord God, help me. I'm so overwhelmed and I don't want to lose my business. And I know that if I don't get into the future and figure this out, I'm gonna. What do I do? And they're just scrolling and they're on YouTube videos and they're getting stuck because they don't have anybody to help them. And I literally believe they are waiting for you to show up. I believe it. And I know because they call me and I say, hey, let me help you. Not your clients. You know what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
And I say, hey, let me help you. And here's what that looks like. And I have a price ready and it's not a big deal. I ask a few questions and I say, hey, here's the next steps. This is what it would look like. I can send you over a proposal. And if everything looks good to you, I'll send you a document for the discovery to sign. And then we just get something on the calendar. Oh, great. It's 1, 2, 3. I send you a proposal. You say yes. I send you a document. We get something on the calendar. It's that easy. And it lets them know this is how it's going to work. And then so having that kind of offer, that kind of thing predefined so they can trust, oh yeah, he knows what he's doing. He's got next steps. He's told me what's going to happen. Then you just validate it by doing that.
Bringing that certainty when they are just like, what do I do?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like when you were, maybe you were a kid and you're afraid, somebody say, okay, calm down, take a deep breath. Let me tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing, but as adults. And these are very capable people. They just need somebody to help them answer the question. I literally had a $1 billion board member for a billion with a B corporation reach out to me. And he said, hey, I know AI is the future. I've been trying to do this whole Claude Code thing, and it's overwhelming, and I'm just never going to do it. I need help. And I was like, have you called the right guy? You know what I mean? And we just joke.
Yeah.
And I say, hey, here's what that would look like. I understand why you're overwhelmed, and I can fix that. And this is what I would do if I were you. And if that sounds, like a solution, let's get together. Great. Let's have lunch. It'll be $1,500. You know what I mean? Like, that's literally last week. So and that's not an arbitrary price because he came from a guy whose testimonial was, Erik changed my life. You should talk to him. Well, what's changed my life worth? To a guy in a $1 billion company, $1,500. You know what I'm saying? So I joke a little bit, but that's the truth.
No, do you? Sorry.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's.
Is that helpful?
Yeah, that's really, really helpful.
Okay.
And I feel like I need to have that certainty or that path laid out where I can just be like, hey, here, this is what I think would work best for you.
Sure.
And let it be just an easy, that makes sense for them.
Yeah.
Just last question is the audits. So do you have a pre-packaged price and approach?
Yeah.
Or does it depend on the type and size of company?
It depends on the type and size of company. My general first my general price range, and it's a range, is anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 per conversation. Now, the way that I frame a conversation is very fixed. Every human that they need me to talk to is a conversation plus one. And the plus one is I need to have a conversation with the owner group or the owner about just the company. Because the company is going to need a whole context conversation before I can even go to the owner's conversation about his own workflow, her own workflow, and then everybody else. Does that make sense?
Okay, so it's more per interview that you
Per
charge.
interview. I wouldn't go... I use price as a filter because if it's too cheap, I'll get people who want me to save or fix their business. And I want to make sure I'm attracting people who want me to help grow and scale their business and are looking to make a capital expenditure into their future. So I do individual work. If I do it for them and I sit down with them, it depends on the scale of the job. But if I'm working with a company, just the audit, I'm looking to target $1,000 a conversation.
Yeah.
If it's a smaller company, if I feel like there's value there and I'm going to have to do massive corporate, I just had a conversation with a $50 million company recently. Okay, that was an $8,000 audit for 6 conversations. So it's a little bit more. Whereas I've got a company coming up who is a smaller company, and I know that part of that audit is going to be it'll be discovery, but it'll also be me getting early intel for delivery because they're not going to have the budget long term. They may spend $20,000, but they're not going to spend $100,000. Do you see what I'm saying? So you have to base it to the client, judging their temperature. Some of that's just reading the room, and that's a skill. So I do have to jump on another call. I'm 3 minutes late, but so good
Thank
to
you
see
very
you.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
nice
pleasure.
to see you.
These calls will be every Tuesday for now, and then they'll go Tuesday and Thursday. So I'd love to see you on the live calls as much as possible.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, brother. We'll see you
soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. We're going to open up my friend Manjula. She'll be calling. It'll be tomorrow, wherever she's at. All right. All right. Oh, let's see. Got to click the right button. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, you know,
Hey.
I was hustling to try to get you on here. Shoo.
I was wondering, like, have I got it wrong?
No, you didn't. I was running long on another call, so thank you for your patience. So good to see you.
Oh my God, good to see you. How are you?
I am so good. Are you on your phone today?
I've got computer problems.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Is that better?
Yeah, oh, it's wonderful. And I need to switch something on my end just so I can... I've got to make some edit on my screen where if I pin myself on the correct side, then... How would I say? It looks like I'm looking at you, because right now I'm looking at me, not you. And if I start looking at you, it'll look like I'm looking the other way. So I have to, like, pin us in the right order. It's so annoying. I'll get it figured out later. But I'm having to work with Google Meet because we need to broadcast that whole signal. So anyway, it's all good. Hey, I know we talked about this, but because it's a live call, I have to read like a little disclaimer. Is that okay?
Of course.
Of course. So, hey, by joining this call, you agree that this conversation may be recorded and broadcast live and in the future replays across all platforms. This is coaching, of course, not legal, financial, or professional advice. And so you are responsible for your own decisions and results. Cool. Let's jump in. You good with that?
Yes, let's do
Wonderful.
it. I'm so excited.
So catch me up. Last time we talked, you were working on
The smart syllabus
education
system.
based products for school districts, your heart to help teachers, and I'm excited to dig in. Give me the update.
Right. So I've had a meeting with head teacher, and I've got some referrals, and I'm still hustling. I'm calling every school I can
Okay.
to get a meeting with the teacher. So, I mean, my question really is, what is the most realistic path to scale this across Australia? Because that's where I want to start first, even though it's global.
Yeah, of course. Um, all right. So I have no idea what that noise was. Oh, it's my other computer. Okay, so let's talk about this. What have you created so far?
Okay, I've created a smart syllabus assistant,
Okay.
and it is actually more ambitious than just being a smart syllabus assistant because it'll actually help with a lot more other things with regards to the teacher's workload. So currently, phase one is complete. What it does is it does the scope and sequence, and then it also does the lesson plans. And what we're looking to do in the future, phase two, is creating worksheets and materials for the teacher for their class, and then also exams and assessments. And then the final stage will be reports for parents and teachers.
Wow. And you've already got a working prototype.
Mm-hmm.
And what does adoption look like so far? Is anybody ready to test it?
I've got a few teachers testing it right now.
Okay.
But what I really would love to do is get it into schools so we can test it within the school kind of environment, and then also have the principal involved,
Mm-hmm.
and then their IT departments involved, because we want to look at how we're going to roll this out, ethically, and with all the privacy concerns,
Sure.
sorted.
Sure. Yeah, very good. So you have individual users, but not a school yet. Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. What I would do, and we did this before with schools, so I know they're open to it depending on your district, is I would look to convene some educational leaders. If you could get maybe a couple of principals or district level authorities to come together, maybe at a round table, literally for lunch. But you'd have to go to them each individually and have the conversation and say, hey, I want to put together an AI advisory team. Here's what we're looking to do. Here's the product we're currently testing. And I have a passion for this, but I'm not an insider. And so I don't know what I don't know. And I want to help teachers. I want to help school districts because ultimately I love students. And that has to be, I'm bullish on that. Like, I have to care about their business. But when you can say that and be honest, then you just invite them to the table and say, hey, could I buy you lunch a couple times and talk about this and what it would look like to roll this out? And then they'll tell you. We spent 6 months as a family interviewing. We heard about the problem from a school district. We invited that school district and 16 of their friends, other school districts, to the table, bought them dinner, and talked about what is the actual problem. Because Einstein is famous for saying, if you gave me an hour to solve a problem, I'd spend 55 minutes trying to make sure I understood the problem, right? Because the solution would emerge after that in just the last few moments. So what we did was, for 6 months, we just unpacked the problem on a deep level, and then we engineered the solution with the users. So instead of just saying, hey, we built you this thing, isn't it great? We're like, hey, will you help us build you the thing that will fix your problem? Because they don't have the capacity or the capability, but they want the solution. So when you can say built with teachers or for teachers by teachers, however you want to say that, you can now pre-sell it because they helped you engineer the solution. And if it wasn't a big enough problem, they should have never been in that meeting in the first place, right? So you're wanting to make sure you're inviting people into that conversation who are genuinely experiencing that problem. But once you have testimonials, and once they can say, oh my goodness, this goes great. That company we built was an educational staffing company, went from zero, and you've heard me say this, but zero to $150 million in 18 months. Because it was a big stinking problem that was very expensive to fix, and we built the solution with the people and then pre-sold it. So if I'm you, I'm stealing that exact playbook and trying to figure out, because ultimately teachers are not going to be the linchpin. It's going to be, they will not be the decision maker. The gatekeeper will be the principal or even the school board above them. Because of the compliance issues you're dealing with, it will have to be brought in. School districts like to say the devil we know is better than the one we don't. So if you just start showing up on their teachers' computers, they're not going to like that. They're going to feel like you circumvented them, and they're going to rather you come in from the top. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would, if you can, the good news is you only have to have one. You only have to have one. The first one is hard. After you get one, it breaks the dam, and they're all welcome to come in, because now you have a legit test case that has other certifiable, they've answered the questions, because they won't be afraid. Well, what about this? Well, what about that? Well, we don't want to go first. Nobody wants to go first. The second client is 10 times easier than the first one. But the first one is a lot of work. And that's where trust is important, which is why, especially with white-collar folks, they don't like to be led. They like to be collaborated with.
Right.
That's not a value statement. It's just true. If somebody has a master's degree in education, they don't want you to tell them what to do. They want you to invite them to the table to have a conversation about how to explore a topic together. They will appreciate that so much. It's an honor to be asked. I would even tell them, you know how I am. I'll even say, hey, I'd love to honor you. I'm putting together this thing. Would it be okay if and then I use permission-based language. Would it be okay if I invited you into this? To a conversation about that, because you're not asking them to say yes or no. You're asking them if it's okay to invite them, and nobody says no to that. My wife and I learned that years ago. Never invite people to a party. Always ask them if you can have their permission to invite them. So instead of saying, hey, would you come to my Super Bowl party? Say, hey, would it be all right if I invited you to our party? We've got a thing we're doing for oh, sure, invite me. I'd love that. They always receive it. And then it's not the yes is or no is up to them, but you've given them what they need to make a good decision. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I hope that's helpful, but you have chosen an industry that's in deep need, but what was that? You've chosen an industry that's in deep need, but oftentimes gets in its own way by regulation. So you're going to have an insider with enough authority and guts to help you implement it. I was with a school, whatever you call them, superintendent on Friday, and she used the words AI cautious. Hey, we're AI cautious, as opposed to like AI, whatever, optimistic. So I was like, oh yeah, and I have a lot. I'm like, you should be. Right? Like empathizing to say, you better be AI cautious. It's going to be a problem if you're not. So, just know it's going to take a while, but you'll have to go through the top. You won't be able to come through the bottom. Now, the only other way to do that is to have teachers recommend you in, because then they're lending their authority and the credibility and the trust they've already got in you up to their senior. So if you can go through these 3-4 teachers and have them recommend you to their vice president or superintendent, that would be awesome.
Yes. Okay. In fact, the first teacher that I built this for, they're actually still at uni, and so they have offered to recommend me or introduce me to some people.
Okay.
But the thing is, because it's such a because AI is so kind of, it's not very well, there's not a big uptake right now in schools, because they've got a lot of regulations.
A lot
so it's
of
hard
regulations.
For him to, it's very hard for the teacher to kind of introduce me without it affecting them. So how could I get around that?
So the teachers are experiencing fear to even disclose that they're using AI?
Yeah, and I've spoken to a few schools, and they've literally said they're only allowed to use these 2 AI platforms, which are coming from the Department of Education,
Sure. is in your country, you're in New Zealand, obviously, for those who don't know. Are you I know it's 4 million people, but that's about all I know with regard to the economic structure of education. Is
Actually,
it
currently I'm in Sydney, Australia.
Oh, you are. Oh, so sorry. So sorry. Thank you for clarifying. So in Australia, how is the education system tiered? Is it schools and then districts and then government level?
There's the whole Department of New South Wales, Education Department of New South Wales. So it's at a state level, really, and then they'll have their private schools and the diocese and
Okay, so South Wales is the state.
yeah, New South
Okay.
Wales, yeah.
And then New South Wales. And then when you say diocese, that's like a district, like a smaller governmental area.
Not governmental. These will be either semi-private or private schools
Okay.
under the diocese within a kind of a large kind of local authority area.
Okay. So you have the local school, then you have a local authority area,
Mhm.
then you have the state.
Yes, that's
Okay.
right.
Okay. So, and they're saying it's the state that's mandating what they can use?
Yes, that's right.
You know, I would try anything I could to see if I can find somebody who's willing to stick their neck out to take a chance at the state level or at the district level, diocese level. And
Yep.
then at the state level, I would be trying to network and find my way into a relationship where I could make some headway. That's going to take time. I'm not going to lie to you. That's slow, you know.
Yeah.
And that's a hard niche. My next thought, and I mean, if is do both, do that, and at the same time see if there are other kinds of teachers who would have more autonomy. So as you know, I'm a graduate professor at a university here in our city, and as an adjunct, I can do anything I want to. But for those who have computers from the university or on university networks, they can't even access .ai websites.
Oh.
Like they are, it's harsh. We're like drug dealers or something. Dang. So there's a real hurdle there. I just know that the window of opportunity is gonna close at such a speed. I don't want to be waiting around on lawmakers to have to optimize their thought process before I make money. Do you know what I'm saying? You're gonna be waiting a long time. So I mean, assuming that your users are fans of it, I would get their reviews, and then I would go find some people to have conversations with. If you need a lobbyist, if you need somebody to represent you in the state level, then that may be something you have to do. You know, investment, time, or money, or whatever. But I would first consider if there's not another application or sector that would benefit from your product. So instead of just only focusing on this one niche, is there a lateral market or an adjacent market that I could also go to? Is there and I don't know, and that would even be worth a conversation in Claude to say, hey, here's the product I've got, here's what it looks like, help me brainstorm, here's my the trouble I'm running into, and let's figure out a solution. Go into planning mode with it, and you might be surprised what it turns out, but one of the things that will be valuable to us as AI agency owners is the slow growth of human adoption. That's actually, we're counting on that, because if not, no business would need us in 6 months if they knew what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard. I say that 6, 12 months, maybe 24, but like, I just know humans won't implement fast enough. So with that in mind, it's like, okay, great. So how do I then, that's a good thing. In your case, governments are going to be even slower. They're like the slowest agencies. So I would let that simmer, not simmer in a passive sense, but I would pursue that knowing it was going to take slow, consistent, leverage, while I'm also looking for another way to sell this. If you're, depending on how committed to this solution you are, or whatever, other markets you can find that it would apply to. That's going to be hard though if you're just trying to break into elementary and middle schools and high schools, waiting for state clearance.
Yeah.
If you can find a principal stick their neck out, you might be surprised.
Yeah.
If there's a way you could remove compliance issues or privacy issues and teachers could access it independently on their own computer, their own thing, without breaking any laws, that would be the other way. So,
yeah. That sparked a question. You know what? I'd really love to be able to get this out there, be available for teachers, but also for schools to kind of be happy with them using it, and for them advocating its use.
I think that's where you're going to have to do a really good job of show and tell.
Yep.
Pushing it out there. It's a hard nut to crack. I just want you to be prepared. That's going to be a battle,
Yeah.
But you're going to have to just put out so much content and show it to so many people that the teachers themselves start to become advocates for you and try to sell it up. Like, hey, you got to get us this product. You got to get, and then encourage them and equip them with messaging to make that noise. That's the result you're going to want to see, because if they start to champion it for you and they start to see what it can do, woo, that's a good place to be in, and they will make, it's kind of like when you're, my kids ask me for stuff over and over and over and over again. I might be resilient and say no the first 10 times, but about 11 or 12, I'm like, all right, look, what do we got to do to settle this? So
Yeah.
you just have to make a bunch of noise. I mean, the same thing is true in public sector. Conversations that were one-offs a couple of months ago now are actually getting up to legislative conversations. But as you know, that takes a long time. So you just have to commit to the content treadmill to see it done. And then from there, be steadfast, Yeah. This is a hard one, but it'd be worth it if you can do it.
Totally, because I'd like to be able to get this in the hands of all teachers rather than just like private schools, because they have their own kind of budgets and we can get this through their system faster than we would at a public school. But ultimately, I'd like to get it into every teacher's hands. So that is what that is my challenge.
Yeah, that's you could work it. I mean, just work at both ends. Work from the top down and from the ground up. Both. You have to have a groundswell movement. I think the groundswell movement's probably a better way to go. You can just reach a lot more people, and not everybody will be regulated. The algorithms will be better at finding teachers than they would be district superintendents. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's going to find them, but it's just they're going to assume they don't have the authority. And you need to make sure that the teachers are making enough noise. Yeah. Well, good. Well, we have like 5 minutes left. What else?
Okay. Okay. So what I'm offering schools right now, and I've contacted all the local schools in my area so I can easily go and meet them, is a high converting pilot program. So what, maybe 2 or 3 things do you think would make this pilot program a success within the schools?
A pilot program for this
smart syllabus assistant, yes.
What does the pilot program entail? What
It
is the offer?
The offer is for each school to have around 4 teachers piloting it and me working with them to build it out further to exactly tailored to what the teachers need. And then we'd have that feedback loop. And building it with them, as well.
Yeah. You're going to have the same smaller hurdle to overcome, they're going to have to give you permission. That one you can work. So there's this famous story that comes from my faith tradition. It's actually an old Jewish story. I'm a Christian guy, but it's in the Hebrew Bible in the book of Daniel. There's this guy named Daniel, and he's being led into captivity by the Babylonians. And when he gets there, he's made up his mind that he doesn't want to eat the food that they are going to make him eat, because he believes it would violate his own religious beliefs about what God wants him to eat. What am I telling you this for? Because in the context of that story, he's motivated by a why. He's like, I have a reason I want to see this done, but I can't implement this plan because I don't have the authority to tell myself what I get to eat. I'm a captive. So what does he do? He goes to the head of the guard, the actual person who's in charge of all of his peers. Those peers are college-educated level teenagers, whatever, who are also captives. He goes to the head of the guard and said, hey, here's my plan. This is what I'd like. I want you to just let me be a vegetarian. That's the short version. And the guy says, Daniel, I like you, but if I do that and it doesn't go well, the king will cut off my head. I can't. As much as I like you, buddy, can't do it. So Daniel did not go home. He went back and he regrouped and he thought, okay, I couldn't get state level permission. What can I do? And so it says he literally thought to himself, I'll go to the person who actually ladles the food, who's in charge of the kitchen, not the program, just the kitchen where I eat, and say, hey, I know you can't give me the whole plan. What I'd like you to do is give me 10 days. Will you just test me for 10 days? Don't say anything to anyone. And after 10 days, measure me. I'm not looking for you to feel how you do, or see how you feel. I'm looking for you to take statistical data and see if this is helpful or not. And it says after 10 days, he was found to be more intelligent, more wise, healthier looking, and even more attractive, just like that guy. So that for the next 3 years of the college program, he and his 3 buddies who all wanted to, eat their diet, it says they were found to be 10 times more wise, more insightful, more attractive, and had more favor on them. So that the king ended up putting them in charge of the whole kingdom. Elevated him to massive place. By the time the story's over, he's literally second in command in the whole world at the time. So why am I telling you that? Because I often think of that. I have a plan. I have a mission-driven business guy. I've got a why. I've got something I want to see done. And I go, oh, well, the logical choice is to go to the top. Great. And I go to the top and they go, hey, we love you. We believe in your mission, but we can't do it. Have a great day. And they're sincere. And it's too expensive. Why? Because it might cost them their head. It might cost them their job. So I try to think like Daniel. My dad, that's the first story he ever told me. Besides Jesus loves me. He was like, hey, you got to think like Daniel. Which is, how do I live from a mission-based posture in a culture that is necessarily against me? How do I develop integrity and a plan and then pursue that plan in iterations until I see it done? And you're in that moment. So I love that your instinct was to go to a pilot program. A pilot is a 10-day version, right? So, hey, I don't think it's going to work at the top right away. So what can I do? I can give them a sample. Let's do a pilot program. You're going to have to find somebody who's willing to stick their neck out and not make it an official thing, but just go. And I'm not asking you to do anything illegal. I think you should, but naturally go to them and say, hey, based on the strength of our relationship, would you trust me to run a 1-semester test? Call it a test. Would you trust me to run a however long it needs to be there to be implemented? And if it doesn't work, we'll turn it off and never say anything about it. But I need real data, and I need somebody who'll believe in me to try this. I'm not asking you to send any emails. I'm asking you to have a conversation with 2 or 3 people and see if they'd try. That, I mean, even as I'm saying that, that appeals to me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you're going to have to be relational and appeal to them as yourself, not as a business person.
Okay.
And and, you know, pray for some favor. I mean, that's what it is. You know, like, Lord, I need somebody to help me out with this. And so you'll find out. But that to me, that's how I'd approach it. So
Yeah.
I hope that's helpful. I agree with your pilot program, but you're gonna have to go relationally to get it done, because it is a risk to them. There's no getting around it. I don't think there's a founded risk. I just think governmentally there's an oversight risk. They're not allowed to do certain things, you know. So you have to kind of play the game in that sense. Anyway, all right. So
Wonderful.
good to see you.
It's always so good to see you too. And the advice that you give, it's just phenomenal. It's golden nuggets, and I really wouldn't have got this far without you. So thank you so much.
You're so kind. That's very kind. Well, look, hey, this show is a test for us, right? We're just going to roll it out slowly. I'm going to do it at Tuesdays right now. A couple weeks from now, I'll go to Tuesdays and Thursdays. We are passively releasing it. We haven't told a lot of people. So I would welcome you as much as it would be helpful. I'm happy to see you again. And, you know, we've got a long-term relationship. So good to see you, Manjula.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. We'll talk soon.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. All right, friends. I hope that is helpful. Manjula and I have known each other a long time, and it's been a pleasure to help her grow her business. The thing I said there at the end, you know, in a faith position, and obviously these are business coaching calls, and I try to weave in personal stories. I don't believe a person can separate their personal life from their business life. In fact, often I think the professional problems we experience are personal, and in many ways are because of these problems in our own life. All that to say, that story of Daniel was the first story my father ever told me, besides truly the story of, you know, Jesus loves me, was that Daniel, chapter 1, verse 8 says, Daniel had a purpose in his own heart, that he wouldn't defile himself with a portion of the king's meat. I give you the story there, but basically, Daniel and his teenage friends have been captured by Babylon, and they're being brought back into Babylon by King Nebuchadnezzar, who then begins to indoctrinate them, teach them his ways, and he's basically taking the royal kids from Israel, and he's going to implement them in his own service. And so on that long walk, Daniel, it says, has this purpose. And he's like, you know what? I realize I'm a captive. I realize I'm going to Babylon, but I want to live in a way that still honors the Lord as much as I can in Babylon. So it says he's faithful to continue in his prayer life and all of this. But one of the things he's passionate about when it comes to obedience and to honoring the Lord is his food. And so exactly what I just told her, he sets about a plan. And he goes to the first door and he says to the leader of the guard, the person in charge at the top, hey, please help me work out this plan. And the guy says, Daniel, I love you, but I can't. The king will have my head if it fails. And Daniel says, I understand. And he doesn't sulk and he doesn't go home and, you know, put his tail between his legs. He says, Lord, what would it take to see this done? And so then rather than going up to the top and trying to work its way down, he starts a groundswell movement. He goes just to the guy in charge of the kitchen and says, hey, here's the deal. Low risk. What would it look like for you to test me for a couple of days? We don't have to tell anybody about it. Don't have to make it a whole thing. Just test me. You and me, you be the judge. If after 10 days you don't see a marked improvement, fine. I'll eat whatever you want. What a great opportunity to offer somebody a low risk, high return investment, right? Doesn't cost Daniel anything. Doesn't cost the guy anything. It's not published survey, not a published study. Let's just see. Let's just measure. And after 10 days, the guy said, wow, there is such a marked difference, even in 10 days, to the way you guys look and act. I'm willing to give you this for 3 years. And at the end of that 3 years, as I told her, 10 times more valuable, 10 times more wise, insightful, and even attractive in appearance, so that King Nebuchadnezzar put them in charge of these high positions in the country. And later, Daniel would be second in the whole land, even under a third generation king from an entirely different people group who would take over Babylon at one point. So why am I telling you this? Because we have to be mission driven, but we also have to have a purpose in our heart like Daniel, but we have to take that purpose and work a plan. And that plan is necessarily going to have iterations. If it didn't require iteration, it wouldn't be worth having. If there wasn't a resistance, it probably wasn't that good of a thing anyway, right? Anytime there's good in the world, there's a necessary evil that opposes it. And so, in fact, it is that opposition, that resistance, that thing to overcome that proofs the value, right? That proves how valuable it is. If everybody could just have the solution, nobody would need your help, right? And so one of the reasons it's important to you is because you realize the value of the solution once the problem is overcome, right? And so we want to be the kind of people who are mission driven in our business. We want to help serve other people by works of service, by goods and services, whatever that looks like, so that having done business with us, they go, oh, thank God for that person, right? My prayer is that just like Joseph, the Lord would be with me and cause everything I do to prosper to such a degree that people would see everything I do prospers, and they would know that the Lord is with me, and they would long to give me not only their momentary business, but even equity in the bigger part of their business, want to do business with me. That is directly out of the book of Genesis, quoting Joseph. It says, the Lord was with Joseph and caused everything he did to prosper. And Potiphar, who was his owner at the time, and Potiphar saw that everything Joseph did prospered and knew that the Lord was with him. And it pleased Potiphar to put Joseph in charge of his houses and his lands. And the only thing he kept back for himself that day was what he should eat for dinner. That is literally my prayer. Lord, help me to be so skillful at what I do that having done business with other people, they would know that you're with me, because I'm getting an undue return for my work. When I put in 1, I get 10. When other people put in 1, they get 2, 3, 4. And that the difference would not be because I'm smart, would not be because I have some sort of cunning or manipulative practice, but rather that I'm trying to be faithful. And just like Daniel, just like Joseph, I get a 10 times reward. The scripture says, sometimes we get 30, 60, or 100-fold back for our effort in the kingdom. And that's what I'm about. Building businesses that matter, not just for us, not just for our posterity, not just for our clients, but ultimately to make the world a better place. My hope is to make it help establish the Lord's kingdom in the earth through our work. So, friends, I hope that was helpful today. You got to meet some of my friends in the AAA community, some of my friends in business. We are combining forces. We are partnering together for each other's good to build things that matter. If that would be helpful to you, I would encourage you to follow along, both here on YouTube and on the social platforms where we will begin publishing in the days ahead. And then ultimately, I will have a school community coming out in a few short weeks where you'll be able to get more one-on-one attention from myself and learn some of the templates, the ways of thinking, and the ways of building business that my family and I have implemented under my parents to, build a $453 million holding company to change people's lives through doing good work. That's all for now. Until next time, build something that matters, and I'll see you soon. Bye.